When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the hellfire, He said to Jibreel, "O Jibreel, go and look at my hellfire and tell me what you think." So Jibreel came back and he said, "Allah, anyone who hears about it, they will definitely not enter it." Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surrounded the hellfire with ease and comfort and temptations. And then He said to Jibreel, "Now go and look at my hellfire and tell me what you think." And Jibreel came back to Allah and he said, "I'm afraid that nobody will escape it." And when Allah created paradise, He said to Jibreel, "O Jibreel, go and look at my paradise and tell me what you think." So Jibreel came back to Allah and he said, "O Allah, anybody who hears about it, they will definitely enter it." And then Allah surrounded the paradise with difficulties and hardships and trials and tests and tribulations. And then He said to Jibreel, "Now go and look at my paradise and tell me what you think." And Jibreel said, "O Allah, I'm afraid that nobody will enter it." You see, brothers and sisters, if we want to get to paradise, we need to find a way to overcome those trials, those tribulations. We need to get through those hardships. And if we want to avoid the hellfire, we need to find a way to avoid those temptations, to overcome that desire to have an easy, relaxed, comfortable life. In reality, when we look about what we need in order to get to paradise and avoid the hellfire, it's one thing. And that one thing is actually willpower. Willpower is a slightly modern concept in the sense that the idea of willpower as a sort of a bunch of, willpower is really a collection of strategies, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But willpower is defined as the ability to overcome your short-term desires, your short-term temptations, your immediate lust, temptation, passion. You overcome that in order to achieve a long-term objective. Really, in reality, you can define it as your willpower is your ability to delay gratification. That's really what it is. Your ability to delay gratification. So if you think about it, what are we promised in paradise? We're promised beautiful things. Rivers, palm trees, fruit, beautiful wives and husbands, everything that you can imagine in terms of a beautiful, comfortable, relaxing life. Everything your heart can desire has been promised you in paradise. But in order to get there, what do we need to do? We need to resist our temptations. There are certain things that we can't indulge ourselves in this life if we really want to get to paradise. Similarly with hellfire, we think about it also that there are many things that are tempting in this life, but if we give in to that temptation, we're going to end up in hellfire. So we need to learn to resist that temptation. Delaying gratification is key, and that is what willpower is all about. In Arabic, the closest term to willpower is actually sabr, and sabr has actually been mentioned over 90 times in the Quran. But perhaps the one that we're most familiar with is in Surah Al-Asr, where Allah tells us, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. In reality, we're not going to achieve Iman, we're not going to achieve righteous actions, we're not going to be able to call to truth without sabr. But just as Iman has its rules and regulations, the righteous actions, the amilus salih, the deeds of worship that we have to do, they have rules and regulations. Even giving dawah, it has a fiqh, an understanding. In reality, when it comes to sabr, we don't really study it. We just think we know what sabr is. Oh, it's being patient. But no, patience, being patient, having patience is itself a skill set that we need to learn. Now, in the Islamic concept, sabr is really of three types. So the first is being patient in obeying Allah. The second is being patient in keeping away from sins. And the third is being patient in the face of calamity. In reality, when we think about it, there's not much difference at all between the concept of sabr and what we're talking about, willpower. It all comes down to the ability to control your lusts, your passions, your desires, your immediate impulses. That ability to control that in order to achieve a long-term objective is what willpower is all about. Willpower is a finite, limited resource. It can become depleted, but it's also something we can build. It's something we can increase. And this is what is really, really, really important about willpower. Willpower is something you can build. You can increase it, you can develop it, and it's actually pivotal in your success, your individual success as a human being, whether it's worldly success or whether it's akhirah success. And one of the key things that's connected to willpower is actually your friends. Who are your friends? Who are the people you hang around with? The people you are with have a massive influence on what you do and how you behave. Understanding that is really, really key in order to put yourself in the best place so you can exercise your willpower in the best way. Make sure you check your email for my next video, where I'm going to be showing you a proven tool, a technique that you can start using straight away in order to effectively use your willpower. And I'm going to give you a clue.